Captain James stood frozen at the main viewport of the Galactic Survey Corps vessel, Wanderer. His eyes weren't playing tricks on him. Those were definitely artificial structures on the planet's surface. But that was impossible. The scanners clearly showed this was a Class 14 Deathworld, the most dangerous classification in known space. "Run the scans again," he ordered, his voice tight. The bridge crew hurried to comply, their fingers dancing across glowing control panels. "Sir, readings are consistent," reported First Officer Mike from his station. "Temperature range, -70 to +150 degrees. Atmosphere, highly toxic with multiple corrosive compounds. Tectonic activity, extreme. Wildlife threat level, maximum." He paused, double-checking his instruments. "But those are definitely buildings down there." The impossible planet hung before them, its surface a nightmare landscape of active volcanoes, twisted metal-rich mountains, and storm systems that could swallow entire continents. Lightning storms lit up the dark side of the planet like a constant fireworks display, while massive shapes moved through the clouds, flying creatures bigger than their survey ship. "Incoming transmission," called out the communications officer. "Sir, it's coming from the surface." James straightened his uniform. First contact scenarios were always delicate, but this one defied all logic. No known species could survive on a Class 14 world without massive environmental shielding, and even then only for short periods. The main screen flickered to life, and James found himself staring at a human face. The woman wore what looked like casual work clothes, her hair tied back in a simple ponytail, and behind her was what appeared to be a cafe. "Welcome to Hell's Cradle," she said with a bright smile. "I'm Commander Emma of New Brisbane Settlement. We've been expecting a Survey Corps ship to find us eventually. Would you like to come down for some coffee? The afternoon lightning storm just passed, so it's a perfect time for visitors." James exchanged shocked looks with his crew. "Commander," he said carefully, "our readings indicate your planet is a Class 14 Deathworld. The environmental conditions alone should make human survival impossible." Emma laughed. "Oh, those classifications. Look, we've got about 2 hours before the next acid rainstorm, and I'd love to explain everything in person. Our landing pad can accommodate your shuttle, and I promise our shields will keep you safe. The view of the lava fields during sunset is spectacular." Before James could respond, a massive shape flew past Emma's window. A creature that looked like a cross between a dragon and a storm cloud, electricity crackling along its body. "Don't mind Bob," Emma said casually. "The thunder beasts are quite friendly once you get to know them. That one helps us harvest electricity for the settlement." James took a deep breath. 20 years of space exploration hadn't prepared him for this. His crew waited for his decision, their expressions a mix of fear and curiosity. "Prepare the shuttle," he ordered. "Full environmental suits for the landing party." He turned back to the screen. "Commander Emma, we accept your invitation, but I have about 1,000 questions." "Everyone does at first," Emma replied. "Just wait until you see how we've modified surfing to work with lava flows. Oh, and don't forget to bring your camera. The tourists are going to love this place once word gets out." As James prepared for landing, he couldn't shake the feeling that this discovery would change humanity's place in the galaxy. They had found dozens of alien species over the years, but none had ever managed to turn a Class 14 Deathworld into what appeared to be a thriving settlement. And had she really said something about surfing on lava? The Wanderer moved into orbit, and James watched the nightmare world below with new eyes. Somewhere down there, humans had not only survived, but had apparently decided to treat one of the deadliest planets in known space as their personal playground. This was going to be one interesting first contact report. The shuttle descended through layers of dark clouds, each flash of lightning making the cabin glow. Captain James gripped his seat tightly as the craft shook in the violent atmosphere. Behind him, his 3 crew members checked their environmental suits for the 5th time. "Relax," said their pilot, Bill, who seemed to be enjoying the turbulent flight. Commander Emma sent us the safe flight path. We're riding between two storm fronts. It's actually pretty calm right now. James wasn't sure. He wanted to know what not calm looked like. The clouds suddenly parted, revealing the settlement below. The entire crew gasped. New Brisbane wasn't just a few survival shelters. It was a proper city, protected by a shimmering energy shield that reflected the constant lightning strikes. The buildings were a mix of sturdy metal structures and what looked like structures carved directly into the mountainside. Their shuttle approached a landing pad that extended from the side of a cliff. As they got closer, James realized the entire cliff face was moving. It was actually a massive waterfall of some dark liquid that definitely wasn't water. "That's the mineral falls," Bill explained, reading data from his screens. "The locals use it for power generation. And surfing. That can't be right." The shuttle landed with a gentle thud, and James led his team toward the airlock. Commander Emma was waiting for them, wearing nothing more protective than what looked like hiking gear. Behind her stood a tall, blue-skinned alien in an environmental suit that covered its entire body. "Welcome to New Brisbane," Emma said cheerfully as they exited their craft. "This is Ambassador Rex from the Galactic Council. He arrived yesterday after picking up our signal. And he's been, let's say, processing what he's seeing." The alien's voice came through a translator. "This defies all logical explanation," Rex said. "No sentient species should be able to survive here, let alone build a thriving settlement. Our preliminary scans showed 17 different environmental factors that should make this planet instantly lethal." Emma shrugged. "Would you believe we crashed here? 20 years ago, our colony ship had a major malfunction. This was the only planet within range. Everyone said we were doomed, but..." She gestured at the bustling settlement around them. "Humans are pretty good at making the best of a bad situation." A deafening roar shook the landing pad. James watched in horror as a massive creature, easily the size of a small ship, flew past them. Its body crackled with electricity, and its 6 wings cut through the acidic air with surprising grace. "That's Bot again," Emma said. "He's showing off for the visitors. The thunder beasts are actually quite helpful once you figure out how to work with them. They naturally generate massive amounts of electricity, and they love eating the metal-rich fruit from the volcanic valleys." "You named it Bob." Rex's translator somehow managed to convey his disbelief. "Well, we named all of them. Makes it easier to keep track. Come on, let's get you inside. The grand tour starts in 10 minutes, and you're going to want to see this. We've got a group doing lava tube cave diving today." As they walked toward the main building, James noticed small robots scurrying around, repairing tiny cracks in the walkway caused by the constant tremors. The air within the shield was clean and cool, and the lighting was provided by what looked like bottles of glowing bacteria. 20 years, Rex said quietly to James. In 20 years, they didn't just survive. They turned one of the deadliest planets in known space into this. How? James watched as a group of children ran past, wearing what looked like miniature wingsuits. They were laughing about something called tornado surfing lessons. "I think," James replied, "we're about to find out that humans have a very different definition of deadly than the rest of the galaxy." Commander Emma led the group through New Brisbane's main street, where shops and homes had been built into reinforced caverns. The constant rumble of the planet's active volcanoes created a steady beat beneath their feet. Ambassador Rex flinched at each tremor, while the humans barely seemed to notice. "Our first year here was rough," Emma explained, pointing to old emergency shelters that had been converted into a shopping center. "But then we realized something important. Everything trying to kill us could also help us live better." She stopped at a large window overlooking a valley filled with flowing lava. A group of humans in shimmering suits were riding what looked like metallic surfboards across the molten rock, performing flips and tricks that made Rex's skin turn a pale shade of blue. "The suits are made from local materials," Emma continued. "The volcanic metals here are perfect for heat resistance. What started as survival gear turned into sports equipment. Now we have weekly lava surfing competitions. Captain James watched as one surfer launched off a lava wave, spun 3 times in the air, and landed perfectly. "That's incredible," he said, "but surely there are safer sports." Emma laughed. "Oh, you mean like tornado gliding?" She pointed to another window, where they could see people in wingsuits deliberately flying into the edges of massive storm systems. They used the powerful winds to gain incredible speed and height, their suits glowing with harvested electrical energy. "The storms here are predictable if you know what to look for," Emma explained. "Our weather tracking AI helps plot safe routes through the tornado fields. It started as a way to move between settlements quickly, but people realized it was just too much fun not to turn it into a sport." They continued their tour, passing by what looked like a petting zoo. Inside, several children were playing with what appeared to be smaller versions of the thunder beasts. The creatures crackled with tiny sparks of electricity, making the children's hair stand on end as they laughed and fed them metallic fruits. "We discovered their eggs in the mountains," Emma said. "Turns out they imprint on whoever they see first. These little ones help teach kids about safety around the bigger thunder beasts. Plus, they're great at charging our portable devices." Rex stopped suddenly, his translator crackling with disbelief. "You turned apex predators into pets." "More like partners," Emma corrected. "The adult thunder beasts help protect the city from other predators, and we provide them with safe nesting spots and their favorite foods. It's a win-win." The tour continued to a massive arena carved into the mountainside. Teams of humans were competing in what Emma called beast racing, riding domesticated versions of the planet's massive 6-legged predators through obstacle courses made of natural hazards. "Next month's tournament is going to be huge," Emma said proudly. "We've even had a few brave aliens sign up for the beginner's course." As if on cue, an alarm sounded throughout the city. Instead of panic, there was organized excitement. People quickly moved to viewing areas as a massive wave of dark liquid, the same stuff from the mineral falls, rushed through a reinforced channel in the city center. "Right on schedule," Emma checked her watch. "The mineral surge happens every day at this time. Watch this." A team of humans in specialized gear jumped into the flow, using the powerful current to perform acrobatic moves. The mineral liquid was so dense that they could practically dance on its surface, their suits protecting them from its caustic properties. "This is madness," Rex whispered to Captain James. "They've turned every deadly aspect of this planet into entertainment." James watched as the performers created a beautiful display in the deadly flow, their movements synchronized with the lightning strikes above. "No," he replied, finally understanding. "They've turned survival into an art form. This isn't madness. This is humanity at its most human." The tour group had just settled into the city's main meeting hall when 2 identical young men burst through the doors. Their protective suits were still smoking from what appeared to be a recent lava surfing session, and their excited grins were impossible to miss. "Commander Emma," they called out in unison. Tom and Jack were the settlement's most famous daredevils, known for pushing the limits of every extreme sport they could find. "Whatever it is, the answer is no," Emma said, but she was smiling. "We have important visitors." "That's exactly why we're here," Tom said, pulling up a holographic display. "We've been thinking, why keep all this fun to ourselves?" Jack nodded eagerly. "We want to host the first interstellar extreme sports competition right here on Hell's Cradle." Ambassador Rex's translator made a sound that might have been aghast. "You want to invite other species to participate in your death sports?" "They're not death sports," Tom explained patiently. "Every activity has safety measures. We haven't lost anyone in years." In years, Rex's blue skin turned almost white. "What my brother means," Jack quickly added, "is that we've perfected the safety systems. Look at these stats." He expanded the hologram to show detailed safety records and emergency protocols. Captain James studied the display with growing interest. The twins had clearly done their homework. Every activity was categorized by difficulty level, with clear training requirements and backup systems. "We've got everything planned out," Tom continued. "Different divisions for different species based on their natural abilities. Observation areas with triple-layered safety shields for spectators. Even special courses for beginners." Emma crossed her arms. "And where exactly did you get the budget calculations for all this?" The twins grinned again. "Dr. Marcus helped us," Jack admitted. "He says the energy crystals we harvest from the Thunder Beast nests alone would cover the costs. Plus, think of the tourism potential." A loud rumble shook the building, and through the windows they could see one of the larger Thunder Beasts landing on its perch near the city shield. The creature seemed to be watching their meeting with interest. "Even Bob agrees," Tom pointed at the beast. "He's been helping us test the advanced obstacle courses." Ambassador Rex turned to Emma. "Your people actually want to turn this Deathworld into a tourist destination. For sports." "Well," Emma said thoughtfully, "we did just finish the new residential complex, and the shield generators can handle 3 times our current population." She paused, looking at the eager faces of the twins. "Show me the safety protocols again." For the next hour, Tom and Jack walked everyone through their detailed plans. They had thought of everything: medical facilities, rescue teams, training programs, and even special equipment designed for different alien physiologies. "The thing is," Jack explained, pulling up another diagram, "most species think this planet is trying to kill them. But we've learned it's all about working with the environment, not against it. We can teach them that." Captain James watched as the twins demonstrated their ideas for modified sports. There were slower lava flows for beginners, guided Thunder Beast rides, and even a safe zone version of tornado gliding using artificially created wind tunnels. "You know what the craziest part is?" he said to Rex. "They've actually made it sound reasonable." Rex's translator was silent for a long moment. "Perhaps," he finally said, "that is what makes humans so unique. You don't just survive the impossible, you make it look fun." Emma looked at the twins' hopeful faces, then at the detailed plans they'd created. "All right," she said, "I'll present it to the council. But," she added as they started to celebrate, "you have to prove you can teach at least one alien to lava surf safely first." The twins looked at Rex with matching grins. "Oh no," the ambassador said, backing away. "Absolutely not." "Come on," Tom said. "We'll start you on the kiddie slope. It's only 200 degrees instead of 2,000. As Rex tried to explain why that was not at all reassuring, Captain James couldn't help but laugh. Somehow, in the middle of the most hostile planet he'd ever seen, he was watching the birth of what might become the galaxy's most extreme sporting event. 3 months after the council approved the twins' plan, Hell's Cradle was buzzing with activity. Dr. Marcus stood at his control station, watching dozens of construction robots reshape a valley into what would soon be the main arena for the galaxy's most extreme sporting event. "The mineral flow regulators are in place," he reported to Commander Emma, who was overseeing the preparations. "We can now control the speed and density of the liquid metal river for different skill levels." Emma nodded, checking off another item on her long list. Around them, the landscape was transforming. New safety barriers rose from the ground, designed to protect spectators while giving them perfect views of the action. Thunder Beasts flew overhead, carrying construction materials in specially designed harnesses. "Bob's team has finished marking the safe zones in the tornado fields," she said, watching the massive creatures work. "Who would have thought they'd be such perfect construction helpers?" Dr. Marcus smiled. "They're especially good at installing the lightning rods. It's like they understand exactly where the strikes will hit." A loud rumble shook the ground as Tom and Jack tested the new lava surf course. They had designed 3 different tracks: a gentle flow for beginners, a moderate course for intermediate riders, and what they called the extreme dream for experts. Their test runs had drawn quite a crowd. "How's our first alien student doing?" Emma asked, looking toward the training area. To everyone's surprise, Ambassador Rex had actually agreed to try lava surfing. He was currently on the beginner's course, wearing a specially designed suit that kept his temperature-sensitive body safe. The twins had been patient teachers, and Rex was making progress, even if he spent more time hovering nervously than actually surfing. I believe his exact words were, "This is terrifying, but oddly thrilling." Dr. Marcus quoted, checking the safety readings from Rex's suit. His vital signs show fear, but also excitement. That's a good sign. More ships arrive daily, bringing curious aliens and adventurous humans from across the galaxy. The settlement had expanded its housing, converting several underground caverns into comfortable hotels. The constant tremors were dampened by new stabilization technology. Though most humans had gotten so used to them, they found the stillness strange. In the medical center, Dr. Marcus's team was preparing for every possible scenario. They had studied the biology of each participating species and developed specific emergency protocols. The twins had insisted that safety came first, even if it meant making the courses a little less extreme. "The Thunder Beast Nursery is ready," one of the handlers reported. Several young beasts had been specially trained for the event, eager to help newcomers learn the basics of beast riding. They were smaller than Bob and gentler with their electrical charges, perfect for beginners. Emma walked to the edge of the observation platform, taking in the view of their transformed world. The deadly beauty of Hell's Cradle remained, but now it was channeled and controlled, at least enough to make it survivable for visitors. "Did you ever think," Dr. Marcus asked, joining her at the railing, "when we crashed here 20 years ago, that we'd end up building this?" Emma watched as a group of aliens practiced with special wingsuits, learning to ride the gentler air currents before attempting the real tornado winds. Their nervous excitement reminded her of her first attempts at storm riding. "Honestly, no," she replied. "But that's what humans do, isn't it? We don't just survive, we thrive. And then we throw a party and invite everyone to join in." A cheer went up from the training area. Ambassador Rex had just completed his first successful run on the beginner's lava course. His triumphant voice came through the speakers. "I understand now. It's not about conquering the danger. It's about dancing with it." Emma grinned. "Looks like he's finally getting it. Maybe we should tell him about the tornado gliding lessons next." Dr. Marcus laughed. "One death-defying sport at a time, Commander. One at a time." Opening day arrived with a spectacular display of natural fireworks as the morning lightning storms lit up the sky. The viewing galleries were packed with aliens from across the galaxy, safely protected behind triple-layered energy shields. Even Bob and his Thunder Beast family had special perches to watch the events. "Welcome to the first Interstellar Extreme Games." Commander Emma's voice boomed across the arena. "Today, we celebrate not just human adaptation, but the spirit of adventure that connects all species." The games began with a lava surfing competition. Tom and Jack led a team of 20 human athletes down the advanced course, their suits glowing as they performed incredible acrobatic moves above the molten rock. The alien spectators gasped and cheered with each successful trick. To everyone's surprise and delight, Ambassador Rex took part in the beginner's exhibition, successfully riding the starter course without falling once. His blue skin had a proud glow as he finished, and the crowd roared with approval. "If I can do this," he announced to the audience, "anyone can learn. These humans are crazy, yes, but they're excellent teachers." The beast racing events were next. Riders mounted their trained Thunder Beasts, which now wore special saddles designed to protect different species from their electrical charges. The race course wound through canyons and caves, testing both speed and control. A young human rider named Mary was in the lead when she spotted trouble. One of the alien competitors had slipped from their saddle and was hanging precariously above a deep ravine. Without hesitation, she turned her beast around, abandoning her chance at victory to help. The entire crowd watched in tense silence as Mary and her Thunder Beast carefully maneuvered close enough to rescue the fallen rider. When both racers were safely back on solid ground, the spectators erupted in thunderous applause. Dr. Marcus quickly checked both riders in the medical station. "This is why we have so many safety protocols," he explained to the concerned audience. "But it's also why we know these games will work, because every participant looks out for each other." The afternoon brought the most anticipated event, tornado gliding. Teams of mixed species took to the sky, humans teaching their alien partners how to read the wind patterns and ride the powerful currents. The thunder beasts flew alongside them, providing both protection and guidance through the storm fields. "It's like dancing with the wind itself," shouted one alien participant as they soared through a perfectly executed spiral. Their human instructor beamed with pride. The mineral falls provided a backdrop for the synchronized swimming events, where participants used the dense, metallic liquid to perform gravity-defying moves. The specially designed suits let them slide through the caustic fluid as if it were water, creating beautiful patterns that reflected the constant lightning strikes above. As the day went on, something remarkable happened. The aliens stopped seeing Hell's Cradle as a deadly world and started seeing it the way humans did, as a place of endless possibilities. Even the most cautious species found events they could enjoy, whether it was gentle beast riding or controlled mineral pool floating. "Look at that," Emma said to Captain James, who had returned for the games. They watched as a group of aliens excitedly signed up for the next day's beginner lava surfing class. "They're getting it now." James nodded. "You haven't just survived here. You've created something entirely new. A place where the most extreme dangers in the galaxy become the greatest adventures." The day ended with a spectacular show as the Thunder Beasts performed an aerial dance through the lightning storms, their bodies creating natural light displays against the dark sky. Bob led the formation, proving that even the deadliest creatures could become the most amazing allies. In the viewing gallery, an alien child turned to their parent and asked, "Can we come back tomorrow?" Emma smiled. Hell's Cradle, once classified as a death sentence, had become the galaxy's ultimate playground. And this was just the beginning. 6 months after the first Interstellar Extreme Games, Ambassador Rex stood before the Galactic Council. The massive chamber was packed with representatives from every spacefaring species, all eager to hear about the event that had changed their understanding of both humanity and Class 14 worlds. Distinguished members of the Council, Rex began, his translator conveying the excitement in his voice. "I request that Hell's Cradle be officially reclassified. It is no longer a death world. It is humanity's first extreme recreation world, and a testament to their unique spirit." Holographic displays showed footage from the games. Humans and aliens surfing on lava flows, riding thunder beasts through lightning storms, and gliding through tornadoes. But more importantly, they showed something the galaxy had never seen before: different species learning to enjoy what they once feared. "The humans didn't just survive their crash landing," Rex continued. "They didn't just build a colony. They looked at the deadliest planet we've ever discovered and asked themselves, how can we have fun here?" In New Brisbane, the changes were dramatic. The original settlement had grown into a sprawling resort city, with training centers, hotels, and specialized teaching facilities. Tom and Jack had opened the galaxy's first extreme sports academy, where instructors from Earth taught visitors how to safely embrace adventure. Commander Emma watched from her new office as a group of alien tourists followed their human guide toward the beginner's lava surfing course. The guide was Mary, the same rider who had performed the rescue during the games. Her actions had inspired a new tradition. Every sporting event now included training in rescue techniques. "Bob's got some new students," Dr. Marcus reported, joining Emma at the window. The massive thunder beast was indeed hovering patiently as several nervous aliens practiced mounting and dismounting from the special training saddles. His gentleness with beginners had made him something of a celebrity. "The latest numbers are in," Marcus continued. "We've had visitors from over 200 different worlds. The waiting list for basic training is 6 months long. And the best part, Zero serious accidents. Our safety protocols are working perfectly. Emma smiled as she watched an alien child fearlessly feeding one of the baby thunder beasts. Remember when they used to call this place Hell's Cradle? Now the kids call it Adventure World. The settlement's success had led to an unexpected discovery. Other Class 14 worlds weren't as uninhabitable as once thought. Human survey teams were already exploring them, looking for new opportunities to turn deadly environments into recreational paradises. Back in the council chamber, Rex was concluding his presentation. The humans have taught us something invaluable. They've shown us that with the right combination of respect, innovation, and courage, even the most hostile environment can become something wonderful. The council voted unanimously to reclassify Hell's Cradle, but they did more than that. They established a new diplomatic position. Every human settlement would now host alien observers, not to study human survival techniques, but to learn about human creativity and adaptability. Captain James, who had first discovered the settlement, returned for the one-year anniversary celebration. He found himself teaching a group of alien officials how to ride the mineral falls, something he'd finally learned himself. The funny thing is, he told them as they prepared for their first ride, "This planet hasn't changed. It's still just as deadly as when we first found it. We're the ones who changed how we see it." As if to prove his point, a massive lightning storm lit up the sky, while waves of lava flowed through the valley below. But instead of fear, the display brought excitement to everyone watching. Another day of adventure was beginning on humanity's greatest playground. In the distance, Bob soared through the lightning bolts, leading a mixed group of human and alien riders on their morning flight. Their joyful shouts echoed across the valley, proving that humanity's craziest ideas often turned out to be their best ones. Hell's Cradle had become more than just a survival story. It was living proof that with enough imagination, determination, and courage, anyone could learn to dance with danger and find joy in the most unexpected places.